Coming up on Kochie's Business Builders, how to double your revenue, the best new technology to transform your small business, and great tips to developing a top brand from the guru at Budgy Smugglers. Hello and welcome back to Kochie's Business Builders. Thanks for joining us. Great to have you aboard. Now, how are you feeling about your business this year? Because I've just read a Xero report stating that almost half of Aussie small business owners are feeling confident about positive growth in 2017, which is fabulous. Interestingly though, only 20% of small business owners had any form of outside financial support to help get their business off the ground, and 79% chose to start up on their own. They're either relying on their own savings or starting a small business on a shoestring. So it's clear the entrepreneurial spirit is still burning bright right here in Australia, which is fabulous. Now, on with the show, and what a beauty we have. Glenn Carlson, co-founder of Dent Global, has some great tips on how to solve your cash flow problems by building a strong and consistent revenue stream. We also get a lesson on how to create an iconic brand from Aussie innovators Budgy Smuggler. Then I'll be answering another one of your burning business questions, and it's a beauty. But first, let's kick things off with Glenn, who is sharing some great advice with Darren from Pipe Perfection Plumbers about how to maintain and build a regular income. Let's get going. Pipe Perfection is a plumbing business founded by dynamic husband and wife duo Darren and Lainey Clancy. Darren has been in the plumbing business for over 30 years, so he knows just about everything there is to know about your leaky pipes. We sent in Glenn Carlson from Dent Global to find out more.
We've grown to 10 plumbers out in the field, and this year we just got ourselves a business manager to go through the next growth stage.
What are some of the things that are really driving that growth?
Our branding, it comes from Lainey's hard work on the marketing and stuff, and the team that we have.
The business started 12 years ago after Darren noticed a gap in the market for a premium plumbing service, so he decided to change that. And like any small business, they have not been without their fair share of challenges.
The biggest challenge for me is the peaks and troughs. The hard thing is the consistency, and for me to just keep that consistency.
So what would you say are some of the real trigger points that are keeping you up at night?
Well, I suppose, if the money's not quite there, but I suppose it comes down to the team around us as well, making sure, keeping everyone accountable. Like, we know deep down that if I kept everyone accountable for doing their job, then those sleepless nights will disappear. So I suppose a lot of it comes about talking about the team.
So it's this combination of creating some consistency in deal flow and leads and revenue to be able to allow you to put the consistency of training in, because I would imagine if there's some inconsistency with revenue, that would create some inconsistency with your ability to hire and retain the top team as well.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, 100%. So if that consistency changed, well, yeah, then we can add more training to the boys.
So what are the best ways to help Darren overcome these challenges?
One of the things that we find works really well to be able to grow the business from an inbound opportunity perspective is joint ventures, alliances, and partnerships. What I'm really talking about is expanding channels to market. So at the moment, by the looks of things, you've got a great website, it's performing well, you've got great media, you've got great coverage, you've got great calls to action, great guarantees, and that's one channel to market.
Yep.
Do you have any other channels to market that are sending business your way?
Most of our business is 75% residential. We have looked at other avenues. We've worked with strata, quite small, 10%. We have gone down the real estate way of working before, but we haven't found that very successful.
What didn't work about the real estate agent side of things? Because in my mind, that would be an amazing channel, because obviously they've got access to your perfect target market.
Yeah, and that's 100% right, and that's what we thought. So we went down that avenue, and then we found that a lot of the real estates couldn't afford the service that we could deliver.
Here's the way I think about it, though, is that you get what you pitch for, and you're always pitching. When we reshape our pitch with real empathy to what our customer, our prospect is dealing with, and in this case now our customer is actually a potential partner, we recognise they don't care about plumbing. They care about more real estate sales and they care about less customer complaints. And you can actually provide both of those things because by providing great plumbing services to the tenants, the real estate agent is going to get more referrals because they've got delighted tenants, which is going to make their life easier, and they're going to get less complaints because they're dealing with tradies that just get the job done on time. So you get what you pitch for and you're always pitching. And so I really highly recommend going in with some more gusto to some of those channel partners and instead of thinking about plumbing, thinking about what's really in it for the real estate agent. And I think that'll make all the difference.
We'll be back later to find out how Pipe Perfection Plumbing can double their revenue. But first, let's get straight into news you can use. Did you know only 9% of Australian businesses are operating in Asia and only 12% have any experience of doing business in Asia at all? China is the world's second largest and fastest growing economy, with 242 million online shoppers spending over $190 billion. And by 2020, sales are forecast to be a whopping $650 billion. With a strong demand for Australian quality products, an Asia-focused strategy can be just what your small business needs to catapult growth. And finding customers overseas has never been easier, thanks to online marketplaces including eBay and Tmall. First, consider whether you have a solid domestic base. Then, research any free trade agreements, the knowledge and skills you'll need, cultural differences, and develop a pricing, resources and logistics strategy. To find out how to do business in China, tune in to our brand new TV show, The Airport Economist. For more information, head to ozpost.com.au/sending overseas. After the break, we meet the cheeky team behind Budgy Smugglers. Imagine starting out as a backyard business in Sydney and turning into a global success story. Can't wait to find out how they did it and to learn from them. Adam Linforth is an entrepreneur who's really made a name for himself. Budgy Smugglers are a unique take on a swimwear classic. With almost 100,000 Facebook followers and a globally recognised brand, they are definitely doing something right. But it hasn't always been an easy ride for this distinctive and colourful business. Their key to success? Building a great brand.
The main thing that we've tried to do is just find something that people can identify with and become a part of. It all started as a joke, really, to put Budgy Smuggler on the back of a pair, and then someone was like, oh, maybe we can trademark that. And that was sort of 10 years ago, and it's been an interesting little ride. Every year since we started, it's sort of grown from a small base by 50 to 100%. So we'll sell anywhere from 50, 100, 200 pairs a day. So, yeah, about nearly half of them are custom swimwear that we make for people, football teams all around the world, AFL, cricket. We've got our stock on the website as well. And yeah, that can be anywhere from 50 to a few hundred in a day. I'd worked at a bank and I really didn't like it. I used to sit out the window just thinking there's better things I could be doing with my life. And living off Lycra was the best option available to me at the time. It's something that I really love, that I care about. And yeah, that was sort of the genesis of getting on board with Budgy. Our sort of core principles that we're Australian, quality, and that we're having a laugh. And we like to do that both with the products that we make, but also in the workplace too. In terms of what inspires the designs, we haven't had a good idea ourselves in about half a decade. So most of the designs come from friends or people at the pub just saying, you know, you need to do a donut print. This is the most important thing in the world right now. And if they say it with enough intensity, then we'll be like, okay, we'll do the donut. People often ask us why we still make in Australia. And it's actually one of the really important things to me that when you buy a pair of Budgy Smugglers that they're made here in Australia, you know, it's a piece of Australia, quite literally. It's our national swimming costume. We're not concerned with how cheaply we can make something. We're worried about how well we can make something. So, yeah, making in Australia is a core part of the brand, and for the swimwear, that won't change. The best piece of advice that I've been given, I think it was from Andrew Rich, who's one of the co-founders of Mambo. We sat down and he asked me how much I was turning over at the time, and it wasn't that much. And he asked me what my plans were for the business, and I said, oh, we want to do the US and take over the world, and he said to me, Adam, your company doesn't exist. I was a bit like, and he goes, forget about trying to take over the world just now. The level you're at, you don't exist. You're not on anyone's radar. What you need to do is just focus on making sure everyone here and in your local area knows you, and then slowly building it from then. And so that kind of switched our thinking. We went from thinking outward to making sure that here in Australia we're a really well-known and hopefully respected brand with a quality product. And now we'll open it up a bit wider. I think small business should be giving back to their community, because they're going to be the people that look after you. So it doesn't always have to be money either. If you've got a cafe, it could be letting people use the space, and then it makes it more of a kind of social hub as well. I don't think of giving to the community as a kind of charity thing. I think it's good for the business as well. I've spent most of the last 10 years working with AIM, which is a mentoring program for Aboriginal high school kids. So I've grown up in and around Aboriginal people, and I think things like Strut the Streets, which was a fundraising parade that we did. I mean, that was through a period where for about 5 or 6 years we were losing money, but we raised $250,000 for AIM. And there's a concept of sort of paying it forward. And I think it's like that in the local community. You've got to look after your local community, because if things don't go well, they're going to be the ones that are going to always support you. The part of my job that's most rewarding is definitely when I roll to the beach and I see someone wearing it, or someone travelling around the world, getting pictures in it, having a good time. That's what I wanted at the start of this whole thing, for you to put it on, for you to be wearing a piece of Australia, and for that to enrich the kind of the time that you have, whether it's with friends or family or travelling. It really, it almost warms my heart, when you see someone getting married in them or proposing in them. It just makes me feel like you wouldn't believe. So it's something, I really love.
Coming up, we get back to our plumber, Darren, who gets more fantastic advice about the steps he needs to expand his business. We'll be right back. Earlier in the show, we sent Glenn Carlson into Pipe Perfection, a small plumbing business who's asked for advice on how to channel their business to expand their growth. Glenn gave some great tips on approaching the real estate market and has a few more to dish out.
Let's say you went and you set up those relationships now with 20 real estate agents in some of your key target markets. Based on the typical experience of how many homes need plumbers every week or every quarter, if you had 20 that were really excited about working with you because the pitch made sense, would that solve some of the short-term revenue cash flow cycles and some of those cyclical issues you were talking about?
Most definitely. It would cut it in half, basically, if I had, if I was to have 20 in my target market.
Which is essentially doubling your revenue.
Yeah.
And so what that creates is this stable baseline, this consistent baseline where you can be making sure you can hire the right team, you can install great training, and you can start working on the business, not in the business, by setting up those established channels. A mistake that I see people making is they go and create a joint venture, a partnership, or an alliance, and some deals start to flow through, and then they forget about them, and they go focus on other things and take it for granted. My advice is never take that for granted. Your job is to be constantly thinking of ways that you can look after, nurture, support, and show gratitude and thanks for the relationship. And there's all sorts of creative ways you can think about doing that. You've got booklets, pamphlets, and brochures to be able to present your value proposition to customers. My recommendation is that you create all of that same collateral for your partners. So they can very clearly see that you've built a business case as to why partnering with you is a really great opportunity. What that does is that it accelerates your speed of being able to create a solid base of regular deal flow, regular revenue. Knowing that you've got that stability and that consistency is a great way to be able to guarantee rapid expansion without the cash flow stress. So that would be my advice.
It's awesome to hear about a small business which has been around for more than a decade. Darren is now ready to take his business to the next level. It's all about identifying what's missing in the market, overcoming challenges, and just going for it.
Hi, my name's Ben Pfisterer. I'm the country manager for Square in Australia. Square was formed 7 years ago by Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter. We first started to help small businesses get up and running to accept card payments. So by buying a small card reader like this one here, which we recently launched in Australia, you can start accepting card payments within a few minutes. My 3 tips for small businesses in Australia. Number 1, make sure you keep an absolute eagle-eye focus on cash flow. Over 60% of small businesses fail within the first couple of years, and the dominant reason is cash flow. So make sure you keep an eye on your finances. Number 2 is be prepared for challenging times. Small businesses do face a lot of challenges when they grow, so make sure you're ready for them. Talk to your peers, talk to people who started small businesses, get to know what could happen, so if things pop up, you're ready for it and you can move forward really easily. Number 3 is embrace technology. The privy of big businesses having tools and systems to better optimise their businesses have now been given to small businesses. So for a low cost, they can get their business up and running really easily and optimise it. They're my 3 tips.
Coming right up, I answer one of your burning business questions, plus we get to learn from another important tech tip. Stay tuned. Wasn't that an entertaining show? Thanks for watching. And how awesome are Budgy Smugglers? What a great Aussie success story. Now, to hear more about other great small businesses, be sure to join our newsletter at kochiesbiz.com. But hey, it's not over yet. Ask Kochie is just around the corner. But first, here's a quick tech tip you really won't want to miss.
Having a password for everything can get confusing, but it's important for security. With a secure encryption platform like LastPass or 1Password, you'll never forget a password again, and you can keep everything organized in your password vault. Now, as you browse online or use your business software, you can save and autofill passwords for your accounts with minimal risk. Sharing passwords with teams or guests is also easier and, thankfully, less stressful. With a business enterprise account, you can create vaults with customized permissions so only the people you want to see the passwords can see them, keeping the important stuff private. Here's a quick example. If you need to give your graphic designer access to your Shutterstock and Sketch accounts, you can add them to the Design Vault, or give your accounts team access to the Banking and Bookkeeping Vault. So this means that you don't have to share 1Password across your entire team.
Time now for Ask Kochie, where I answer one of your tricky business questions, and I've got some expert help today with Cindy Batchelor, NAB's Executive General Manager for Business. Cindy, good to see you again. Now, Jeannie has sent in a question via video. Let's check it out.
Hi, my name's Jeannie Pepper. Together with my husband, we own Plum Collections. Plum produces baby clothes, toddler fashion, baby sleep bags and kids swimwear. I have done a business plan in the past, but we are well overdue to do a new one. And my question is, what makes a great business plan? And what tips would you give us before we start to do one? That'd be great if you could help us out on that one. Thank you. Bye.
Jenny, that is a great question. We get this question so often. And Cindy, it's a great reminder that every business has got to have a plan. And it's a living, breathing document, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's great to see Jeannie actually going back and revising that, because so many businesses actually start with one and then it doesn't live and breathe. So it's fantastic. So Jeannie really wants to know what it is that makes a great business plan. So, you know, you really need to start with the business. And we got a great explanation in the video about what that looks like. But also, who is the target market? And how are you going to access that market? Really important. So, you know, what is your prediction for revenue and your expenses and what's growing and what's the market doing? That becomes really important. And also in a clothing wear business like Jeannie's operating, really understanding what's happening by product line, because you may find that some things are growing or selling and some things may not be, and you need to adjust that potentially depending on what's actually happening out there.
And when you lump them all in together, you can't differentiate that. You have a gut feel, but
Correct.
You've got no empirical evidence. That's a really good point.
Exactly right. And also just as you're doing your business plan, particularly over time, don't forget to include the experience you've gained. You know, what is it about you, about, you know, what you actually bring to the market and how you're differentiating yourself. I think that's critically important too. And particularly if you're growing the business and you potentially want to fund it as well.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be onerous, does it? Because a lot of small business owners I talk to say, oh, it's going to take so much time to do a business plan. I've got it all in my head. And I often say, you don't have it all in your head. And it doesn't need to be 50 pages, does it?
No, absolutely not. And given it's a living, breathing document, it does have to be something that's accessible, that you could easily, refer to, and you can make adjustments. So it can't be 50 pages. It actually has to be a couple of pages that really guides you to let you know whether you're achieving the success you've outlined in your business plan.
Do you share it with other people? Do you share it with, say, your accountant and your banker even?
Absolutely, and I think it's great to have advisors that you actually bounce things off, and they'll also have experience of other customers similar to you.
Yeah.
So really making sure, where do I fit relative to others? I think it's a great opportunity to share it with those that are closest to you to help you make successful.
Great advice, Cindy. Jeannie, hopefully that helps. Good luck with the business. Keep us up to date with how it's going. And remember, you should review and benchmark your plan at least once a year, or use it as almost a monthly refresher as well for your business. That's it for this episode of Kochie's Business Builders. We'll catch you next time. Hey, thanks for dropping by the KBB YouTube channel. If you want a whole lot more where this came from, press the subscribe button and it will open a Pandora's box of great videos that not only are educational, full of great advice,